Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Just Prem Podcast. Um, let's bring Brittany in so we can get started on today's podcast topic. Hey, Britt, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How was your podcast? Your live that you just did on P. Diddy?
Oh, it was fine. It was fine. It's kind of confusing because it's like all these like different lawyers, it's like all these different layers of lawsuits and stuff, but it's kind of makes it confusing to explain. But essentially the long and short of it is that this lawyer who actually is representing clients in quite a number of legal matters against P. Diddy and his sons and stuff like that. Um, he's kind of showing what appears to be, or he's being accused of exhibiting behaviors that are for the purpose of pressuring and basically extortion is basically what they're accusing him of. Basically going to certain courts, using certain venues, forum shopping for for the specific purpose of kind of strong arming a settlement deal out of famous and rich or big corporations. So that's generally like basically the long and short of what's going on, but it's kind of like hard to explain because there's all this background stuff going on about like diversity jurisdiction and stuff, which I don't know. But it was good. It was fine. It was good.
Yeah, just so much has been going on with P. Diddy. I don't even know. I'm starting to lose track of everything that's going on with him. It seems like everything new every other day.
And it's almost like he's like one of those Britney Spears types where it's like everything and everyone is like 2 degrees of separation, if not 0 from P. Diddy. It's
Right.
interesting.
It's crazy. Everything always ties back. And our today's story, talking about that, uh, ties back to a topic that we covered last week. Long Island audit and his audit. It ties to this story, and there's been a lot going down in Dolton, Illinois. And so let's just get started. I'll give you some information about what's going on, and then we'll discuss it. So this story is regarding Tiffany Henyard. She's from Dolton, Illinois. She's the mayor of that town, and she also acts as the a supervisor for the town. So she serves two roles. As the mayor, she makes about $250,000 a year. Um, that's just from her mayor and supervised duties. And this town is not big. The average income of the people in this town is about $25,000 a year. But that's not the worst of it. This mayor has been accused of doing a lot of illegal things, unethical things. A lot of accusations have been made. I heard about this story a few months ago, and then it recently came up when a few weeks ago when we watched the Tommy G. This is a Tommy G mayor where he went to the town to investigate. After that, Long Island Audit went to this town and to audit and do a First Amendment audit and see how they held up. What this mayor has been accused of is first, one of the allegations is that local businesses, local business owners have said that if they do not give her donations or to donations that she wants, basically semi bribes, that their licenses are not being renewed. They're having business application problems, just a lot of problems in town. She also has been accused of, from being this small town, also traveling extensively, first class tickets. All these accusations have been launched against her that she takes lavish vacations, goes to Vegas, and just wastes the town's money while the town is in deficit. Another one of the allegations against her is that she uses the local police department as her own enforcement or mafia or bullies to go bully people. One of the people from the town said that because they opposed her and were against her, she believes that her house was shot up because of that. Um, her
What?
her the So someone's alleged that if someone goes to the town to go do research, go find out stuff, investigate, the cops harass and bully them. It happened to Long Island Audit. It also happened to Tommy G. Uh, so this mayor is just everything going wrong. Uh, the trustees try to recall her, but due to technicalities, the appellate court upheld that she couldn't be recalled. So the only way to get rid of her is either through re-election, which will happen next year, or through feds investigating her.
I had heard something else too, that she wasn't actually elected, she was appointed. Like, she didn't actually win an election. And when she got in, she basically made it to where only appointed mayors will make that $250,000 salary.
Yeah, so
If the people do actually elect the next mayor, other than her, a new mayor gets elected, actually democratically elected, that person will not be making as much money as she's making. Like, she basically wrote herself a raise into the law or something.
it'll be a 90% pay cut.
90%.
So that just shows you.
This is giving Lord Cornbury.
It's giving a lot of local governments. It goes on a lot, in local governments. But this is just, she's brazen about it. She's not scared. She doesn't give. She's out there. She's putting up videos. She's making music videos. She has her own podcast. The whole town is covered with billboards just with her name, her face, and everything else like that. And few developments in the story that have happened recently is there was supposed to be a town's meeting last Monday, and during that meeting, it was an open public meeting for the town, and that they were going to ask her to be investigated, but they would not let a lot of the people in. There was a lot of issues. People were protesting outside for the trustees because people were protesting and stuff, and they were getting not let in. Four of the trustees walked out of the meeting, so that meeting couldn't have happened. They've asked for investigation into it. They've asked the feds to get involved. So there's a lot going on. So that happened recently. And then also another thing recently happened is in their town buildings where it was public, where people were allowed to go and conduct business. Now they've made it into a restricted area. So you can't even go into that restricted area. Britt, you want to pull up that clip? We can watch that little quick clip.
So I can so I downloaded the clip because the volume doesn't really work good when you watch the video. So do you want to show like the video for like what it came from?
Yeah, you can do it either way.
Like it's this video. You can't go in. Dolton residents fired up over Mayor Tiffany Henyard's controversies. Is this Prem? Is this? Please tell me she's gonna say the BBHMM clip in here.
Which clip?
Where she tells the people they better have her money.
I don't know if that's in here.
Oh.
But yeah, also this mayor shows up to the town blasting music, goes into her town meetings blasting music, and basically sings the lyrics, puts the lyrics of the song on Be Better Have My Money to the townspeople.
She's singing y'all know, Better Have My Money, by Rihanna or whatever. She's like playing it loud at the meeting for the town or whatever, the public meeting. And she's telling the people of the town that they better have her money. But the irony is she's talking about their money. And this is literally the entitled corrupt politician's mindset, is that it's what we work for, and we go to work every day and, work our brains and bodies to the bone. That's her money. And that is what these like corrupt politicians do believe.
Someone said it's fun,
she is
it's
talking
funny,
to
but
her
it's not. Literally, it seems like this is out of the movies. This can't exist, in today's world with so much social media and public acknowledgement and everything. But it's like a clown show. It really is. You can see everything messed up that's going on, and this mayor is still allowed to run around, do whatever she wants. Again, all these facts have been alleged against her. We'll have to see what gets proven out, but people do have a lot of receipts on it. So do you have that video up?
How long have you lived in Dolton?
38 years.
Have you ever not been able to get into Village Hall?
One time. Not one time.
Yet another surprise for residents of South Suburban Dolton who now say they can't get into their own Village Hall. This after some residents were locked out of a Village Board meeting last night.
The village is blaming safety concerns, but residents are pointing the finger at embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Tonight, our Dane Placco has the latest controversy from Dolton.
And then I went to reach for the doors. You can't go in. Wait a minute. No offense. Y'all do know this is a government building.
Dalton resident Cheryl Hill used her cell phone to document what happened when she tried to get some paperwork at Dalton's Village Hall last week.
So what you mean? Why people can't come in there? Yeah. Why people can't come in there?
New security procedures went into effect last week. The village says in response to threats against controversial Mayor Tiffany Henyard and village employees.
Okay, wait, hold on. Doesn't this woman roll with like a 9 police officer deep personal security force?
Oh, yeah. So that was another thing. One of the allegations against her is that she uses the local police as her own, bullies or mobster type of tactics, but that all those cops or majority of them make overtime and they're padded with so much extra overtime and the town has to pay that. For example, in one pay period, a cop had racked up about $13,000 worth of payroll for one period because it was like the cop had worked a couple hundred hours in like a 2-week period or something like that. It had said like 300 hours or something like that. So she uses those people for that too. But the funny thing about this is I believe that you said she has a security team. She has a huge security team. The cops are basically there. And if you go watch Long Island Audit video or Tommy G video, you see the cops show up and basically harass and bully and intimidate whoever's there.
And they're like they're not de-escalating anything. They're going 0 to 10,000 miles an hour immediately.
And I do believe that the sign that they put up, because of First Amendment, you're usually allowed to record in public places where public access, unless it's a restricted area. And I think to get around the loophole or the law, they've now designated this as a restricted area so people won't be able to go in. Well, auditors can't go in, but then townspeople can't go in too. And it just causes so much delays and problems and issues. It's just crazy. And she has a huge security detail. She doesn't even have to worry about threats and security.
Yeah, it seems like a fake reason. Like they're just making it up.
And it's constitutionally, again, Sean's dealing with this in New York, but you can't just start restricting access and saying this is restricted just for no reason to keep people out. So it'll be interesting to where this goes. But majority of the town, it seems like, is fed up with her. Majority of the politicians there are fed up with her. So it seems like almost if someone's not on her alleged payroll, it seems like everyone's against her, unless they're friends, family, or very few people.
Have you heard of any potential investigations or anything into her? I mean, people in the chat, in the live chat, are saying this has been going on since last summer.
Yep. So there was some report. Nothing's been confirmed. There hasn't been anything confirmed that I've seen. Nothing's been confirmed. There is rumors that the federal government is investigating her. They've asked for investigations into her. The town had set up investigation, but she vetoed it, saying the town doesn't have the money to do that investigation.
Stop.
It's funny.
The town tried to investigate her and she vetoed it, saying they didn't have the money, all the while she's taking first-class trips with her favorite police.
Seems like that.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's go. Let's watch the rest of the news segment.
It used to be the Dolton residents who needed to take care of a bill or a license perhaps would walk in the main entrance right here. And then they would go into this common area where you'd see the service desks back there. But now it's all locked right here.
This woman is an extreme narcissist. Like, oh man, I wish there was a compilation of the stuff that led up to this. Like, oh man, I want to find that BBHMM clip.
I know where it's at. I can find it while you play this.
Now residents have to talk to a security guard behind a window in the vestibule and conduct their business in that small, cramped area.
Young lady showed up earlier this morning, went in, and was totally upset. She had no idea that she could not go into the building, just the foyer, had to do her paperwork.
So what are they paying tax dollars for, Prem? What, this is their institutions, their buildings, their business. They need to be able to do in their municipality.
But she's already said it. She played that song.
That's her
Better have
money.
my money. So it's not their money. She
That's her
thinks
fiefdom.
it's her money. It's her personal funds. They better have
Wow.
it for her. It's not for them.
It's like she learned from the British or something.
Standing outside in the rain.
We are being treated as the resident, I say we, as though we were in prison in our own town, in a place where we pay taxes.
They protesting.
Yeah, no, this was at the meeting where they wouldn't let people in because of security concerns and other problems because of restrictions. So people were literally chanting outside, "Let us in, let us in." And that meeting ended.
People are uniting peacefully.
That message of exclusion amplified last night when about 25 Dolton residents were locked out of a village board meeting as those inside blasted Henyard during public comment.
I wouldn't trust this woman if she stood on a stack of Bibles and had her tongue notarized. Not a damn thing she says comes out of her mouth is true.
The meeting ended early when 4 opposition trustees walked out, saying there was ample room for the crowd and refusing entry to all would violate the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
The meeting was adjourned because we have to have enough space. So we have to. The Open Meetings Act requires that that we have enough space for everybody to get in.
As you just saw, is chaos amongst our 4 trustees. They didn't come here to handle the business. They came here to do a political theater stunt, which you just saw.
As for the decision to
What's the difference between that political theater stunt and this one with restricting access to the public building?
Nothing.
Well, one might be unconstitutional.
lock the doors on Village Hall, a Henyard spokesperson blames, quote, threats of violence as a result of the continuous misinformation portrayed by the media and internet bloggers who are using Dolton as a means to generate ratings and revenue.
Why is this what they always say whenever they get busted, caught red-handed on tape in HD?
Because
Or
that's
in
the easy thing
360.
to do.
It's the ones that wants the clicks and the likes. It's the clout chasers. That's who it is. It's not our corruption. Nope, nope, nope.
Our staff and elected officials have received several disturbing communications via emails, social media, phone calls, and visitors from across the country. As such, our security protocols have changed. But residents we talked
That's what you call she's embarrassed.
to believe the mayor is hiding behind a security threat to keep them out of her business.
Because she have a lot of things she have to hide. She have to account for the money that's being spent.
In Dolton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
So that, do you think was due to her security concerns, or she doesn't want investigative journalists being in there?
It's, well, you know, my analysis based on watching that one news clip and, you know, a couple others with like her antics. I think she's a control freak and she has to be in control, and she's like on a power trip, like, you know, some might even say a narcissist or something, where it's like, no, she's gonna win. She has to win. It's one of those people that's got to have the last word type of people. And so I really do believe it's like a scorched earth. Like, she's going down. She knows if she's going down, she's doing it her way, how she wants. And she's not going to take a prisoner, not one. And I think, I think that she's doing it to purposefully punish the people who she actually works for. I think it has become obvious that nobody really in that town who's not on her payroll is actually on her side. And now she's punishing people to torture them because she lost her control. I mean, even sitting there like as you could see, the media circus, it's like she really believes that. And so I think she's just something's wrong with her. Something's certainly wrong with her ethics, her morals, and her frontal lobe, in my opinion. But what do I know?
You know, it's just an ego trip. At some point, it's like even the corrupt ones normally they'll do some stuff to make it look like they're not corrupt, or they'll go do try to put a bow on top and pretend like they're not doing anything, try to save themselves. She's gone full on the other end of just even harassing people more, making it near impossible, because she's basically saying, while I'm in here, you're not going to be able to do anything. I sent you the clip. If you go to like 49 seconds, that's where people can hear her, see her antics. I think she wanted to be an actor, or she wanted to be famous or something like that. The way she just
actor. Well, I mean, I always have my suspicions about these installed mayors. Don't make me get out my tinfoil hat. What, 49 seconds?
Yeah, around 49 seconds. No,
Okay.
she definitely is like an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wants fame. The billboards in the town, they're exactly like that one. There's billboards like that all throughout the town.
All through the town. Okay, so this is an actual billboard. This is not AI. This is not Photoshop, is what you're proposing to me.
No.
Okay.
But this is like a banner, but there's actual billboards throughout the town, on buildings, on everything, with her face.
Okay.
An elected political double dip. She's charismatic and controversial.
Let me do the.
Here she is, starting a Dolton Village board meeting, dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City. Later, punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
And it's hard to turn anywhere.
Look at the billboard.
Henyard's picture.
She said, DJ, help me out. And played Be Better Have My Money by Rihanna in the town hall meeting. Okay. Yeah. Wait, where are we? Come back. Okay. Whew, got me all disoriented. Okay.
Or online, where she recently commemorated 9/11 with her own photo. I'll ask you a few questions. But when we asked Henyard a few months ago about her use of tax dollars, she was quickly hustled out of the room by armed security. And on Facebook, in videos posted by Henyard herself, we see
That's her security detail.
surrounded by Dolton officers, which got us to wondering, why all the cops?
We weren't opposed to her having the security detail. We asked how long and how often.
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood says Henyard began assembling her detail shortly after being elected in 2021, using hand-picked Dolton police officers. Using the Freedom of Information.
She is a mob boss. Stop. This is a mob boss.
You know how we were talking about it last week? Like, would we run for office? Or a couple of weeks ago, would we run for office? Would you do anything in the office? And I said there's only two reasons you would run for office. One, you want to become the best stock trader, picking companies, which company is going to best investor. It seems like if you get elected into office, you seem to learn how to invest all of a sudden. You don't even need any experience. You
it's
just
like
figure it out.
Psychic too.
So that was one reason. Or the other reason was you want to tell people that you're the mayor. But she's given me more reasons why someone that's messed up would want to be a mayor.
A private security detail. You get your own secret service, I guess.
It kind of reminded me, like her security detail reminded me when I was in DR a few years ago for a work trip, and I was staying at a private place, but my the person staying next to me was the U.S. ambassador to the DR when I was there. And I didn't realize first I was Secret Service. I just saw guys around, and then I would look down and I would see SUVs like that parked. It was the diplomat for the U.S. to Dominican Republic had a security detail. Not even as crazy as this. He had the
that person needs a lot less security than the Dolton, Indiana mayor. Oh, sorry, Illinois. My bad.
Yeah, each one of those trucks is 6 figures after it's all done and said.
Wow.
We obtained the work records for 6 of the officers assigned to Henyard's security detail at various times and showed them to some of Dalton's trustees. This is a freedom of information request we gave to see how much overtime these officers are making on their security details.
Oh, wow. 162 hours.
162. Oh, that's nothing. What goes through your mind when you see these numbers?
It's disappointing. It's frustrating.
The officers are paid every 2 weeks, which without
Look at that.
hours. But when they're put up,
And she has her own media team also, PR team.
It kind of reminds me of like when you're a little kid and you're playing, like there was never a lot of girls around me. There was always boys. And so it'd be like, we would have to find stuff to play. Let's play Power Rangers and like whatever. It like reminds me of like little kids, like playing mayor, like with her like leggings and her like crew. And it's like, she's been hand selecting them. Like, yeah, like my buddies, like, let's just pay off her 300 hours of pay period and like traipse around town and build our own ice skate rink. Like, what a life she's living.
Oh yeah, she also built that ice skate rink, which was in the Tommy G documentary or his Exposed, where she went and built the ice rink that's only allegedly used by her for her own functions, and that's the only time it's used. It's not even for the townspeople.
Please, something's wrong with her.
Henyard's detail, 80 hours balloons to well over 100 hours, sometimes 200 hours. And in the case of Officer Terry Young last May, 303 hours worked over a 2-week period.
It's $13,000 for one pay period.
200 hours.
303.
Oh.
303. How is that even possible?
The person's working, sleeping, standing up all the time. They're thinking about working.
How many hours is in 2 weeks? Let me ask the internet. How many hours is in 2 weeks? How many hours is in 2 weeks?
The person's like sleeping probably like 20 hours.
Prim, 336 hours. So he slept 33 hours and he worked 303.
Yeah.
He worked 303 and he slept 33.
I think if he was dreaming about it, he could still bill her. I think that's the way it probably worked.
He slept 33.03.
A lot of threes today.
I'm just saying.
Single paycheck of more than $13,000.
How does a person put in a 2-week pay period, 303 hours? That's impossible. That's impossible.
That being said, though, Prim, from the way she seems to treat literally her own constituents, I actually wouldn't be surprised if she required somebody to only sleep 30 hours over 2 weeks. Actually, now that you mention it, that might be true.
I don't know. I think she's got to usually studying other places where corruption has taken place and everything else like that. Usually, whoever's your enforcer, you got to keep them happy. You got to treat them right. You can look at foreign governments where governments, the militaries come in and help the dictator or a ruler come in. You have to keep your enforcers happy in that case. So you would want to not overwork them or piss them off. The way you keep them happy is by giving them overtime and paying them. And again, this has not been proven. We'll have to see once the records are available. She's blocked the records too. It seems like people are not able to get the records, but it seems like the way she's getting her enforcers to participate and be happy is by giving them overtime. Now it does seem like some of this might have been just billing the overtime and not even working, but I don't think she's putting the whip on her enforcers. She might be only doing that to her townspeople.
130. Does he never go to sleep? In fact, there are 336 hours total in 2 weeks, meaning Young was not being paid for only 33 hours over that period. Other officers on the security detail are also racking up overtime paychecks in the multiple thousands
Wow.
of dollars. Hey, mind if I ask you a couple of questions about your security detail? Absolutely not. I'm asking her. A couple weeks ago, we tried to question Henyard about her detail as she went door to door in Dolton giving out water on a 100-degree day.
Oh my God. She went to the people's house to give them water?
Firefighters, public works employees, and
That water is more expensive than anything. Each one of those people are getting paid overtime. Her whole security detail.
Oh, I have an idea, y'all. We can go door to door and hand out water that the taxpayers paid for and give it back to them so y'all can get paid $10,000 an hour.
Dolton's Facebook page.
I want to tell the people I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I hope they post what we actually do here in the village of Dolton. It's not telling lies.
But when we gave her an opportunity to explain the OT, why do you need so many officers?
What do you say, water? It's not what you said, water.
Earlier that day, we
So they're like clowning and harassing the journalists who are trying to ask like for comment. Okay, good.
as a Dolton cop drove Henyard from her other job at Thornton Township to a Mexican restaurant for lunch. Trustees say the security detail picks the mayor up at her home in the morning and is with her until she's dropped off at night, taking her on errands and shopping. Does she need a security detail?
Absolutely not. Why would you need a security detail? Oh, she loves it. She just loves it. She loves the detail. I think it makes her feel as if
Hey, Melanie.
she's like a
We got Melanie in the chat. And we got Long Island Audit in the chat.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Hey, Melanie. Hey, Long Island Audit. Hey, Sean. We're just getting caught up here on the most corrupt mayor in the United States or whatever. And honestly, I mean, I know all this stuff already, but it's still just as shocking each time. Still just as shocking. Y'all follow Long Island Audit and Bubblegum Bites. I am. Oh my God, you're in Dolton right now. Oh my God, we should send you a link to join. Let me know if you want to join. We can send you the link. No pressure. No pressure.
Trustees have filed a lawsuit against Henyard, saying she's not justified the need for security and is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on it without the board's approval.
I see no justification whatsoever, and more than that, it's really a detriment to the residents of Dolton.
How so?
The residents, if we would take the same money and put it on officers patrolling the streets, then the residents will see a much better presence and public safety.
Whoa. The same money? No, I think we need to stop the leak in the boat. I don't think anybody needs $13,000 in the pay period, sir. I mean, am I wrong?
No, people can make $13,000 in a pay period, but not at the taxpayer's expense, providing security for a mayor. You know, there might be a place.
We've had a few shootings, so we need the extra police patrolling our streets instead of patrolling her.
And we found Dolton credit card statements showing that Henyard takes the detail with her even when she travels out of town, spending
It's a Secret Service.
thousands of dollars on plane tickets, lodging, and meals for the officers.
And RFK couldn't have a security detail. And he's running for the US president.
Well, he should have ran for mayor of Dolton, Illinois first, sounds like.
Anything you want to say will take yourself on this. As for the village's finances, trustees say Dolton is now getting sued by some vendors for failure to pay its bills.
In the last 2 fiscal years, we're $5 million in the hole. And the big problem is the security detail.
It's embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
You don't see the governor with a detail in first.
That lawsuit over the mayor's detail.
Literally, you don't see the president of the United States with that many. I mean, they probably are, you know, dispersed throughout the crowd or whatever, but like actually rolling with the president, maybe 4? I don't think I've ever seen more than 4 be like right there like that.
Well, there's a lot more.
But
She's
they're like
close.
dispersed.
She's close to the president.
They're like surrounding her like a group, like a bubble.
I wonder if Sean's seen any of the patrolmen out there patrolling the streets.
He said it's impossible to find this super mayor.
She's busy. She's got to run this big town. She's
She
got to
might be in
justify her
Vegas
salary.
at the women's empowerment conference.
Detailed questions to Henyard's spokesman, but never received a response. Dane Placco, Fox 32.
And it's interesting they call it the Henyard spokesman and not like the town hall spokesman or the whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're calling it the Henyard, like that's her last name. It's not the Dolton spokesman, it's the Henyard spokesman.
Everything's about her. Like even it's sad, the 9/11, like she had posters up for 9/11 and it was pictures of her
Let me see.
as the memorial.
Tiffany Henyard, 9/11.
It's crazy. Everything all about her. That's all that matters. It's her. And again, I think since Sean's here, we can talk more about it. This story, this is why we have to do First Amendment audits. This is why we have to have the access and people to be able to go to public places and research and find information and report on it, because there's mayors like this. Thank God for social media. Thank God for, people like Tommy G, Sean, other people that have been reporting on this forever, for reporting on it and bringing it to light. This is with this much public attention, she's acting like this. Now, can you imagine how she would act if there wasn't this much attention on it?
I am not even kidding. I am not exaggerating and innocent till, something happens. I would not put it past her to actually result in a hit taken out on someone. But I'm not saying she did that. I'm not saying she definitely would. But I wouldn't be surprised if she was not getting any media attention and someone threatened her little scheme. Yeah, I think that it could be very serious, very dangerous for someone. Yeah. So here's the 9/11 pic.
This is for the town to be posted around in the town.
Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard, honor and remember. It's almost like it's, I know that it can't be a joke because number one, jokes are supposed to be funny. And this isn't funny, but it almost feels like a satire. Like it almost feels like a joke. Like, is she just doing it to be funny? Like, are you serious? Mayor Tiffany Henyard, honor and remember, with the 2 light beams and then the 9 and then her. What is she, like the exclamation point? What is this?
That's why I think she might be like an actor or someone that just wants to be famous, and this was her way of becoming famous, like in her
It's
own
like a
head.
reality show villain. Right.
Yeah, it feels like a reality TV show. That's what it feels like. The way she walks around, the way she acts, the way she does everything, it might be the real mayors of Illinois or something like that.
Oh my God, stop. I'm just looking at her different, like, posters. Like, I don't know if these are all real or whatever, but like, oh, that's her actual Instagram. What is this? Where's that picture? Oh. Oh, it's a video. Okay, well. What is this about? Why is she doing this? What is that?
Who knows?
Government Finance Award for reporting. Youth Family Services, free counseling and after-school tutoring. FEMA. So where is the investigation? That's what I want to know.
Still, no one knows.
What in the scary Donnie Darko hell? I'm just getting a look at her propaganda. She gets out, doesn't she? Oh my God. Stop. House head fest. Look, she's got the little sunglasses on. Photoshop.
She's ready for the eclipse.
She's ready for the eclipse. Please, what is all of this? Please. She is funny. If it was not actually a government official, I would be like, yes, queen. But I mean, she's using taxpayer dollars for this insanity. I think that, I mean, they can call the feds for help, but I'm sure they have, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, people have. Some business owners have gone out to the feds saying like, hey, we're not able to get our business permits and licenses because of that, because we didn't make donations and stuff like that. So people have reached out, but I don't think anything's been officially announced as investigation. My question is, how has this been able to go on for so long and no one stepped in yet?
that's the same feeling I was getting whenever I was watching them go door to door, like in that clip where they were going around with the water bottles. I was just thinking like, wow, like that's why I said this is giving Lord Cornberry, because it's like you get this feeling of like overwhelming dread when you realize there's really nothing you can do about it. You're really just stuck. There's really nothing they could. Clearly, for months and months, these poor people have been held hostage by their own mayor, terrorized by her, bullied, threatened by her. People are getting their houses Second Amendment deviced up. Allegedly, that's the allegations. I mean, we can see her on camera doing some pretty like mob boss type of behaviors. And yeah, how? It's literally, this is the type of behaviors why the United States of America had to exist, because this is exactly what they were doing. The royals from the, whatever, England or whatever, came over here, parked their first cousins over here as the leaders, and they were handing out huge plots of land and stuff to their friends. But if you weren't on the list, like you didn't get anything, you didn't even get a vote. They were deciding everything. And it's like, well, what this woman is doing is not the founding principles of this country. It's just not. And I know a lot of people like to call me naive and stuff. And y'all like to be like, well, are you shocked? Are you surprised? Yes. Shocked, surprised, and outraged. And I'm going to continue to be, because this is not how it is supposed to be going, in my opinion.
It like normalizes it. It basically, this is like normalizing for people, hey, this is okay. But clearly it's being allowed, because whenever the federal government wants to step in, whenever they want to do something, they step in. Whenever it becomes a hot button topic for whoever, they'll take care of it. But it's been allowed to go on. They do investigations into the craziest things and go after people and do investigations on most random things in the world, but they won't do investigation and just put this to rest and free the people. It's sad to hear the people in the town basically saying we're being held prisoners in our own town.
That woman said she felt like she was in jail, like they were being held in prison. Exactly. It does remind me, though. Remember that town in Florida we talked about for a while, or I talked about for a while on my channel, Lynn Haven? Had a similar situation to this, where there was a mayor that had just been appointed and he was acting a fool. But then the mayor before him actually was accused of misappropriating FEMA funds. And they did investigate into that mayor. And that mayor got investigated by like the FBI or whatever and is serving prison time. So sometimes whenever there is a big deal made about some of these issues, that will be the cases that do get tried. But like you said, this is so run of the mill for these small towns. It's like we got to start holding a lot more people accountable on a lot larger of a scale. And this mayor is showing what happens to people when they try to hold these people accountable. It's like people are getting their houses shot up.
There was a comment that said we gave them an inch, they took a mile. That's where we have to pay more attention to our local government. That's where things can happen and you can try to control it. And thank God for whoever did the initial reporting. I'm not aware of the person's name, but whoever did the initial reporting and the initial townspeople that started challenging her and going, this is the reason why we need access to our towns. This is the reason why we need access to public documents. Public requests need to be honored, and no excuses need to be put up, because they can always make a reason. And if we don't see the document, we don't know what's in there, and their reason is what their reason is. But this is why we need access, because if we have access, people can go research and find stuff, then stuff like this gets uncovered. Right now, they're trying to prevent from investigators, journalists to go into the town to find out information by either limiting their access to the town, limiting their access to the documents, or intimidating them and harassing them with their local police. That seems to be the trend for the town right now. And this is with our First Amendment rights. This is with our rights where we're able to do this, that towns can do this and get away with it. And it's just sad.
I don't know if this article is true or not. Is this real? Washington Examiner? It says Illinois Democratic Mayor Tiffany Henyard vetoes calls for FBI. Like, how do you veto a call? For FBI investigation into her controversial spending. A small town Illinois mayor vetoed calls for FBI investigation into her handling of town finances on Monday, including the disappearance of millions of dollars. The trustees voted last month to call for the FBI to open an investigation into the mayor. The U.S. Attorney, Cook County Sheriff, and Cook County State's Attorney also support the investigation. The FBI has begun interviewing dozens of people relating to the investigation into Henyard. This is what I was looking for. Like, is there an investigation? Is this true? This is the only place I've seen saying this. That's the suspicious part.
That's the weird thing. They say that it's FBI has done it, but they haven't put out a statement. So maybe they're doing it behind the scenes.
She says to the Daily Mail wrote an article, and they quoted her as saying, "I always stay the course and I will be victorious when all the dust clears." She has a reputation for spending more money on travel, security, and hair and makeup than she brings in as the mayor of the small Chicago suburb. She receives an annual salary of $300,000. She blamed the town's financial struggles on the board of trustees, which she claimed is incompetent. This literally, Lord Cornbury blamed the governor, like basically his cabinet. And she says that they're uneducated about municipal government. She has admitted the town has a $2 million deficit, but some people believe the real number is as high as $5 million. One of her biggest expenses have been travel. She and other town officials have spent more than $67,000 of public money on trips to major cities, such as Atlanta, Austin, New York City, and Portland. Some of the trips included first-class travel, and one trip cost $13,000 to New York City that she took.
And she said the trustees are the ones that wasted the money. I guess by allowing her to do that.
By not chaining her down to her chair to her office or something. The Illinois mayor has already survived a recall attempt to remove her that was overturned on a technicality, and she now faces a lawsuit from the trustees. However, no criminal charge has been brought against her. She's also been accused of unlawfully signing new contracts. This is another Cornbury tactic. He would give away land permits to people who didn't even buy it, just as favors. Signing new contracts while dozens of previous contractors remain unpaid. A trustee named Brittany Norwood said, "When I say we are here to save Dolton, I mean it. We cannot survive like this. We have vendors calling us every day for non-payment." Henyard's charity, Tiffany Henyard Cares. Please, this is not real. This is theater. Whoever said that, I agree. She has a charity called Tiffany Henyard Cares, and it's already been closed down after she allegedly used taxpayer money and government employees to run it. I don't know if this article is real or true, though. I don't know what Washington Examiner is. If that's a real, I don't know, girl.
I've seen all that stuff reporting done other places, pretty much.
That was from a month ago.
Not the vetoing the FBI. I thought she had vetoed just an investigation into her. I don't know. It was a FBI. I don't know how you veto a FBI
That's what I'm
investigation.
saying. It
Uh,
seems like maybe not quite exactly accurate, which leads me to wonder what of it is accurate in there.
it's crazy. So, what's your closing thoughts on the mayor before
I
we get
pretty
into the
much
next
said
story?
I thought as I went. I mean, it's corruption. It's not like shocking, surprising in some sense because I've seen it, you know, for 1,000 years at this point in history. But then it is shocking because, like I said, this is not the foundational principles of this country, and this is not what people are supposed to be doing whenever they are working for the people. And somebody does need to remind her, or at least let her maybe know for the very first time, she does in fact derive her powers from the consent of the governed. And so I do think there should be an FBI investigation. I'm a little bit outraged that we haven't seen an actual investigation. They're raiding other people. Why they can't raid her? She's literally a government official. People are saying they feel like they're in prison. Her constituents. That's my closing thoughts.
Yeah, no, my closing thoughts on her are again, until all the evidence comes out, that's yet to be seen and innocent until proven guilty. But from the looks of it, from seeing everything, she does seem like she's up to no good, wasting money. She's a bully. She's using her bully tactics to harass people, get her way. To me, it seems like I don't remember what that movie was where the person is living in a set. What was that movie called?
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Maybe this is the Truman Show, and we're all just being
We're
tested
the
on, to see if we can realize if this is reality or fake. But it clearly seems like that.
Well, and then the thing that's really mind blowing about this is that's one of the definitions of insanity is when one of the clear cut signs of insanity is whenever someone doesn't know if the reality that they're looking at is real or fake, like if they're awake or dreaming or whatever. And it's like, with people out here like Tiffany Henyard as mayor of huge, important towns, suburbs of Chicago, we're all insane. Who can tell what's real and not real at this point? The Tiffany Henyard Cares charity that she was having the government employees run, she's telling the townspeople who she works for, better have her money when it's their money. It's like, please, is this real? This can't be real. But
No, it's a clown show that we're living in.
It is a clown show. All roads leads to clowns.
But we'll keep it posted. We'll see what happens here. Now, going to the next story that's been developing today. Have you heard about Elon Musk getting into a fight with Brazilian Supreme Court?
No.
So this will be a fun one. Elon Musk, the Brazilian Supreme Court and a judge are officially going after Elon Musk. So this story just, I think, broke. Yeah, today, this morning, I saw it. Basically, what's happened is in Brazil, in the last elections, there was one side lost, the right side lost, the left side won, and there was a alleged coup to overthrow the government after the right lost. I'm not too involved. Didn't follow that story, so I don't know if I, can say the exact details. But from the readings of it, it seems like that happened, and now there's some investigations going on. As part of those investigations, the Supreme Court had told X, formerly known as Twitter, that they had to block certain accounts, and if they did not block those certain accounts, they would be held in contempt. They would have to pay roughly $20,000 $20,000 a day if they did not follow those requests to take those people off. And normally, when foreign government things going on like this, the companies usually comply. But Elon Musk has decided to challenge, and he started tweeting. And basically, the Supreme Court justice has now ordered an investigation into Elon Musk over fake news and obstruction of justice and obstruction of the case and causing problems. And Elon Musk has basically come out and said, we're not stopping. This is against the Constitution of Brazil. This is not right. And he's not going to take those, he's going to reinstate those accounts. And now there's a whole mess over it. And he's also come out and said that the likely result of this is Twitter, X might not exist in Brazil anymore. X won't be making any money. And he's told people to download VPN in order to use Twitter, but he said he's going to put his ethics or his morals where it is, and he's not going to fold to the government. He's going to challenge them. So that's the rough, real quick rundown of this. But the two sides to this is, one is Elon Musk trying to protect First Amendment, he says, and allowing people to speak and the government not censor them. The other side of this story is, how does a billionaire like Elon Musk get to say what happens in another country that he's not a resident of, that he's not a citizen of? How does he get to do that? Who is he to tell the Brazilian government or the Brazilian judges of the Supreme Court that they're breaking the Constitution, that they're restricting?
Well, even taking it a step further, who is a billionaire to tell an American billionaire to tell American what we can do and see? I mean, should he even have that type of authority over us?
Well, that's where, does he own the platform? And then if someone owns a company, that's where private and government, we probably don't want them involved either, because then it becomes a mess. But no, this is perfect. Like the TikTok ban, now Brazil can say, hey, this is a foreign adversary causing issues. We must ban them, or we must force a sale. I think in the coming year or 2 years, in the coming time, it's going to be a really big test for all these companies to see where the governments end up, because now the governments are starting to get fed up too, and basically saying, our country, our rules, and we're going to do whatever we want to do, and normally Elon Musk has said, we follow the laws of the country. If the country has laws, we'll follow them. So in certain countries, we ban certain things. But here he's taking the stand that the justice is wrong, that the Supreme Court is wrong, and that he's going to expose them all if they continue with this. So that's the story of Elon Musk taking on Brazil and the Supreme Court. So any thoughts on that?
I mean, I am starting to become like a member of the team Elon Musk is becoming a supervillain. So I do hesitate to kind of like cheer and applaud for anything he's doing, because out of one side of his mouth, he's talking about freedom of speech, but out the other side, he's actually buying up some of the most important, industries and things. So it is kind of one of those middle of the road sort of like things for me with him. But if I take away what I actually know about him or think about him or whatever, and I just look at this case alone, I think I have to agree with him. It would be one thing if he were saying, to break the law in Brazil. Now, that does beg the question in my mind, is downloading a VPN in Brazil for the purpose of accessing a website that the government has outlawed, would that be considered a crime? I really do not know. But for me, it seems like he isn't saying, the United States Constitution should determine whether people in Brazil get to have these accounts. He seems to be relying on the law, the Brazilian Constitution, which if that's the case, then good. They should go sort that out in court. And he has the money to go fight it in court. If anyone should be fighting for free speech, it should be people who have the money to do it. Now, do I really believe in my deepest heart of hearts that this is just simply an altruistic freedom of speech case, that Elon Musk just fighting for the freedom of speech for the people? No, I don't. I think it's, he wants for his own personal reasons to do this, and he is. But that being said, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I have heard Elon Musk talking about this exact situation for years. And, even before he was talking about buying Twitter, he was talking about this being the way to handle the situation when it arises. So it has allowed him now to put his money where his mouth is. And I haven't heard anything about this case till right now. So I don't really, want to speak too much further on it. But that's just kind of my immediate impressions.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. The court had also said that he wasn't allowed to tell people which accounts were taken off. That was part of the things. And I haven't followed this story this afternoon to see what's happened. This has been developing today. But the question becomes, and I think it's going to become a lot harder for Elon as he goes on. The question is Elon Musk too powerful? And the other governments or whichever government's in power is starting to say that because they're saying,
it's interesting. They only start asking if the billionaire is too powerful whenever it comes to actually giving people some type of rights versus like whenever he was doing the thing with the certain thing with the internet, which we're not going to discuss specifics. But he provided internet somewhere where allegedly, apparently, there wasn't supposed to be. And then it was always Elon Musk too powerful. But Jeff Bezos can drop off a Timu baby rattle in the middle of the Amazon rainforest and nobody's asking if he's too powerful.
no, it's crazy. It's only, it is only whenever the government's threatened that they say we got to take down the billionaires or we got to stop that,
Right. Is TikTok too powerful now that TikTok is allowing the American citizens to talk about things that maybe the United States government doesn't want running rampant and wants to be able to pressure a Facebook, which we now know for a fact because they have admitted in congressional hearings that they did in fact do. Then is TikTok too powerful? But whenever they were like recording your 9-year-old little girls in their room for God knows what with that data, they weren't too powerful then.
But Elon Musk is becoming too powerful.
I agree. That was how I opened my monologue with that. He's becoming a supervillain in my opinion.
Because he controls battery production, which is going to be a huge future push. He's got the leg up on that. He owns the sky. I think more than 50% of all satellites that are up in the sky
He owns every layer.
Are Elon Musk. He owns AI and
the maps from the Tesla data.
He just basically owns all the industries. He has a huge part in it. And now that I think the governments are going to start clapping down because they feel threatened. And it's going to be a tough time for him. But I think the tech overall is going to change big time. And I'm not even anti Elon Musk. I think, him buying Twitter, in my opinion, has been better than him not buying Twitter, because now at least we know that there was stuff going on behind the scenes. Certain people were being banned. Certain actors were involved, just overall. So has it been better? To some extent, I think yes. And I think him going for free speech and allowing us more free speech than before, I think is great. But
why does one guy get to allow our free speech? I mean, what if he changes his mind?
That's the problem. Like, how can we be in a place where we allow a select few people to control what's said in the public domain? I do believe, and I'm a big believer, that businesses should have their own right. Businesses should be able to do what they want to do, allow whatever services they want to allow, and everything else like that within the legal bounds, of the law, and staying within the law. But at the same time, when platforms like the social media platforms today have become the public town square where people go talk about it, at that point, is it too big to stop people. That's the way people communicate. That's the way people go talk. It's like saying people can't coexist. And this is where I'm always in a dilemma. I do believe in free markets, but then at some point when it comes to things like this, where it's such a big thing and it's public town square, and people are being shut out because someone decides what the rules are because they have the money, doesn't seem right either.
Agreed. I always end up in a really precarious situation when we talk about Elon Musk, because like half of me knows that he himself poses a huge threat to humanity and to democracy and to, representative choice and things. Just by virtue of the fact that he is so powerful, and he is a bit unpredictable. You don't know exactly if he's going to even follow his own rules he puts in place for other people, because we've seen him be a hypocrite before, namely that jet tracking situation. He went ahead and deleted somebody's account for that. And so I'm scared of him. Really. He's scary to me. He does have way too much power, and he's not predictable. That being said, I often find myself having to, in these case by case scenarios, kind of like broken clock is right twice a day. With the Don Lemon thing, for example, I think that Elon Musk was well within his rights to terminate that business partnership. But does that take away from the other fears that I have about him and the power that he has already amassed and will continue to amass? I mean, it's all exponential from here for him. He's gonna own a lot more before the end of it.
Yeah. It's just an interesting story that we'll have to continue following along and see what happens. But if you want to go look up a few of his tweets, he's gone pretty nuclear on the Supreme Court justice.
What I mean, like, he's like not predictable man. Okay, Elon Musk tweets at Brazilian Supreme Court. What would I type?
Just Elon Musk.
Elon Musk and Brazil are beefing over X. Okay. Brazil has opened here. Oh, I guess. Okay. Brazil has opened an investigation into Elon Musk over potential obstruction of justice. The inquiry opened by Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes. I don't know how to pronounce that. Monica, I need a pronunciation guide. Okay, Sunday. Okay, so the inquiry is opened by the Supreme Court Justice Alexandro follows a string of heated interactions between Musk and the Brazilian government. On Saturday, X's global government affairs team announced that court decisions had forced the platform to block certain popular accounts in Brazil. And they would face daily fines of up to $20,000 a day if they failed to comply. Quote, "We are prohibited from saying which court or judge issued the order or on what grounds. We believe that such orders are not in accordance with the law in the Brazilian federal constitution, and we will challenge the orders legally where possible." Barely an hour earlier, Elon Musk had said that he had lifted the restrictions in Brazil and had since instructed X users in Brazil to download a VPN in case the country blocks access to the platform. He also called for the justice to resign or be impeached after claiming he was responsible for the order. So that was one of his tweets where he had told the judge resign or be impeached. The other tweet came an hour after the ban tweet, and he said he lifted the restrictions. So this justice is the head justice. He's the head of the top election court. He has advocated for eliminating anti-democratic content posted online in the wake of the far-right rioters attacking government buildings on January 8th. Wow, this sounds very very oddly familiar. Advocated for eliminating certain content posted in the wake of far-right, quote, rioters attacking government buildings on January 8th. I'm having deja vu.
Even the dates are close.
Right? I don't know anything about this. I'm not speaking to it. I mean, this is my first time reading about it, but it's what? Okay. The Brazilian judiciary said that, quote, disinformation is a singular threat to Latin America's largest country, having directed several crackdowns against hate speech, incitement, and fake news following the attack. I am so sick of this. It's like they treat people like we're not intelligent in any way. It's unclear if the order for Twitter to ban certain profiles is linked to supporters of the former Brazilian president or members of the far-right movement involved with the January 8th riots. The platform has become a hotbed for misinformation and other harmful rhetoric. Now, Prim, they do keep saying this, but what do they even mean? I've never seen one single person try and like substantiate what they're talking about. It just feels like a dog whistle buzzword, and I could be convinced. If I saw some type of proof or whatever, but like, what does it mean? It's become a hotbed for misinformation and other harmful rhetoric. Like, do you have any idea what they're talking about? I'm sure that's based on something.
There's some studies out there, research that says that it's happened, and people are saying, well, we can see more stuff coming up. Again, I think it's a lot of fluff overall. And my biggest thing always has been is freedom of speech. Let people decide what they want to listen to. People are smart enough. They're basically saying that people are not smart, so they don't know what's fake news, what's real news, and so that for those reasons, someone has to decide, and it's basically a way to get around it. Basically, right there.
Monica actually gave the pronunciation guide. I was butchering that poor man's name. I was saying it like he was French. I mean, not that he's a poor man. He clearly hates free speech, but okay. So it's become a hotbed for misinformation, allegedly, but like it seems like it's just based on people's opinions, honestly. And like I said, show me the proof. I could be convinced. With the European Union recently criticizing X for failing to effectively moderate false news around this war, which I'm not even going to say. The order and subsequent investigation into Musk comes as Brazil calls for urgent focus on social media regulation. We cannot live in a society in which billionaires domiciled abroad have control of social networks and put themselves in a position to violate the rule of law. Well, hold on. Then why are you asking that billionaire to do exactly that? The judge is saying the order said we cannot live in a society where billionaires have control of social networks. But didn't the court literally ask him to control the social network for them?
Well, that's the thing, right? They haven't banned it, but they're saying people can control it, but as long as they listen to us.
Right. It's like they didn't seem worried about the control till Elon Musk wasn't doing what they wanted him to do. Failing to comply with court orders, threatening our authorities. The Attorney General agreed. Posting on X. The funny thing is, these silly gooses have to go on this man's platform with the accounts that he still allows them to have. And literally, he could just he could detonate their accounts. He won't, because I do think that would defeat his whole purpose of, free speech. That would kind of undermine his argument. But they have to go to this man's platform to criticize him on what he's doing on his platform. The irony. While positioning himself as an ardent defender of free speech, he said multiple times he'll follow the rule of law where required. In an interview with Don Lemon last month, Musk said that X has a responsibility to adhere to the law and would take down illegal content. Last April, Forbes reported that X has fully complied with over 80% of government censorship requests, compared to the roughly 50% that were accepted. Wow. This is wow. You see how they just buried this right at the end? Last April, Forbes reported X, which is Twitter, has fully complied with over 80% of government censorship requests. Whereas before Elon Musk bought Twitter and took ownership of it, they were only complying with 50%. So he's actually censoring more, according to this Forbes report, than before he bought Twitter. And his whole thing is like, see, this is what I'm talking about. He does seem to be a hypocrite. I don't know what that Forbes thing is. We got to look into it.
But again, percentages on how many requests, right? The sample data, the percentages.
There's a lot to look into, yeah.
If there's only 15 requests, versus 1,500, it can make a big difference on what the percentages are. But it's just an interesting story going on. And I think we'll see a lot more of it with him, even with social media accounts, just overall going everywhere. I think it's going to become all social media, even in this country, it's becoming a big deal. How are they going to regulate it? And I hope they don't regulate it, because whenever there's regulation, we the people lose. We don't gain when our speech is being regulated because of some fear. We lose. Tomorrow, this mayor could be the next president and decide any talk of her is misinformation and decide that's not allowed. We don't want the government to have that. We don't want the government to have those powers either. So it's a catch-22. No way of winning it. I think that's all I had for today. Do you have anything to add on?
No, I think I pretty much said what I was thinking about this one so far.
All right. With that, we'll be ending it. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back at another episode of Just Prem Podcast. Have a great day. Bye.